Wow, coming up on the middle of the year. So that's kind of a big deal.
It really is a big deal. At
Uh-huh.
the beginning of the year, everyone does, you take some time to kind of think about, okay, starting
Yeah.
fresh, new
Yeah. Yeah.
year.
Right.
And,
Yeah.
I got
It's
my
a new year, new
plan and
dreams.
right, and goals
Yeah.
and all that
Yeah.
stuff. But I tell you, by the time you hit July 1st,
Hmm.
you're
Yeah.
kind of in a place of where am I really at here? And am I, for some, Steve, they might be ahead of the game. Like
Yeah.
for example, Deanna on Breakfast Club this morning noted that,
Literally has done in 6 months what she did all of last year. That's a
yeah,
great spot to be in.
great spot, right?
Yeah.
But on the other hand, you might have some who are, in the middle of the year and still feeling like they're in the blocks. They haven't even
Mm,
got onto the
mm,
race course yet.
mm.
They feel like they're stuck. So, this time of year, July 1st, Steve, it's always a good time just to kind of evaluate where are you at, what's going
Yeah.
on and how are we doing? And I think the most important thing, we touched base on a little bit this morning on Breakfast Club, well, a lot actually, is first of all, just making that assessment, like where am
Yeah.
I at? Like what's working, what's not, what's an asset, what's a liability. And this is one of those things where, like Deanna even said it this morning. She said that yesterday,
Yeah.
and for just so you guys know, we're July 1st today, and so yesterday was the end of June before she went into the last half of the year. She said she took the day off
Yeah.
to just focus on that. Like, where am
Mm,
I at?
hmm.
Let's take an assessment of what's going on in my business so that I can correct. And one more thing, and I'll let you jump in, is Joanne Johansson was chiming in this morning, having her biggest month she's had
In
since the
years. Yeah.
in
Yeah. Yeah.
years, right?
Uh-huh.
Closed 13 in June. She got
Yep.
15 ready to close in July.
Right.
And she made the point that even though these are her biggest months, right? Some of her biggest months, right? That it when you have big months like that, it
It
comes with
exposes big
pressure.
problems.
It
Yeah.
comes with
Yeah.
pressure, and
Yeah.
pressure exposes weaknesses. And so, again, so she's in an evaluation
Right.
stage right now due to the pressures of doing higher volumes of business. So, yeah, let's just kind of chew on that for a minute, like things to consider, as we
Yeah.
go into the last half of the year, to make sure that we can, if we're not fully on track, we can get lined up, get on track now. You still got half the year left. You know
Yeah.
what I mean? We're only halfway through. So,
Hey,
yeah,
and
I
Frank,
mean,
I
what are your
think I
thoughts?
think everybody just asked, like, are you where you wanted to be halfway through the year?
Yeah.
And if you are, what are you doing that's helped you get to where you're at? Just like, um, if you've hit your goal, you're on track for your goal. What I would evaluate is what's working.
Yeah.
What am I doing really well?
Yeah.
And then maybe it goes back to this. We've got to constantly be self-assessing and evaluating. And I like to do it, I mean, literally on a weekly basis. Fridays are such a great day to do it. But it's like, Frank, am I where I wanted to be? Yes or no? And this is where hey, just to be candid, there's been seasons in our lives where it's like I lie to myself. I'm like, oh, it's good enough. But I wouldn't do the gray area. It's like, am I where I wanted to be? Yes, no. If yes, what did I do that's helping me get there?
Mm.
If no, what am I not doing that I need to do to help me get where I want to go?
Yeah.
And Frank, what I love about it is it's usually not a whole lot of things.
Yeah.
It's not, I think that's where we get deceived and it's like, oh man, there's so many balls that need to be pushed. No, if you're not closing the number of loans, it's simply because you and your team are not having enough conversations and you're
That's a good
not
point.
asking for the business. You're
Yeah.
not visible. We talked about it a couple episodes back. You're not you're not visible. You're not being seen. You're not following a plan. You're not doing, just the simple things that keep you top of mind. And I
Mm.
think this being halfway through the year, it's just honesty. Yes, I'm where I wanted to be. No, I'm not. All right,
Yeah.
what am I doing that's working? How do I keep doing more of that and less of the busy work? And if I'm not where I want to be, how do I stop doing the things that don't move the needle and do the one or two things that are actually get me the business or get out the business? I hate to
Yeah.
be that abrupt, but it's like
Yeah.
it's not that hard.
Well,
Oh,
Kevin Gillespie always says, when you figure out the things that are working, you pour gas on that,
yeah,
right? You
yeah,
pour gas on that, and the things that aren't working or things that are stopping you from pouring gas on the thing that's
Yeah.
working, that you have to fix.
Yeah.
You just got to fix it somehow. And,
Hey,
here's what it really comes down to, Steve,
yeah.
honestly.
Go for it.
This is it. At the end of the day, you brought this up just the other, maybe it was Carl, one of you two big brainiacs brought this up, but it's
You're so
just so simple. Um, if we're going to look at, if we're not where we want to be, if you were to really just boil it down to the bottom line, what's the problem? It's just
yeah.
not enough prospecting. That's
That's
it.
it.
It always winds up just being not enough prospecting. That's all it ever winds up being. And
There's
and
it's there.
so
Hey, there's nothing. I mean, there's nothing greater than that. Like,
right.
are
That's
you?
that's
Well, hey,
everything. Yeah.
well, and let me just tell you this real quick, and because you and I are going to be talking about our story. I'm starting over, which is awesome. In one, what's so funny? At the end of the week, when you look at your tracker, which everybody should be tracking their activity. And I've been able to ramp up pretty quick with the team. And it's like, how many outbound calls did we make? How many conversations did we have? How many times did we ask for the business?
Right.
Listen to this. How many appointments were set? How many appointments were kept? And how many relational leads did we get? Like, that's
That's
it.
it.
I mean,
That's
at
all
the
of
end of
it.
the week, you could look at 40 hours and whether it's you, whether you hired people to help you make those calls, you want to know where you stand immediately. And we talk about this hunting versus fishing. And I mean, hunting and fishing, I started calling it fishing for all of our animal lovers. They don't get so
Yeah.
upset when you say fishing. But when I'm fishing, dude, if I'm hungry, I'm going to walk back to the back of my property that backs up to the Brazos River. I'm going to throw in a line. The other day, Lucas and Chandler, they're 10 years old, Frank. They were out there fishing. They caught like literally a 10-pound cat, yellow catfish,
Wow. Mm.
yellowtail cat. Hey there, if you're loving the tips so far, make sure to hit that subscribe button and tap the bell so you never miss out on more cool free tips coming your way. I'd also love to hear from you. Make sure to drop a comment below and let me know what you think, or what it is you want to see next. And we'll see you on the inside. See you. It made me think about it. Like, if I'm hungry and I got to go get fish and I need to eat, hey, by the way, we filleted it and had fish tacos. But literally, I would go fishing, and that's the whole point. Is if I have to put loans in the pipeline today, the only thing to look at is how many conversations did you had this week, tracked. How many times did you ask for the business? How many appointments were set? How many were kept? How many leads you got?
Mm.
And anything other than that is a distraction. Now, when we go to farming, which you and I talk a lot about, and we're big proponents of farming, which is having our digital billboard and
Sure.
creating
The
our
email
yeah,
and
email
Facebook
list.
stuff.
Yesterday,
Yeah.
I finished writing the whole month's emails for both past clients and for realtors. Like, that's the easy money. Like, I'll tell you this, Steph got a big cash out refi just yesterday because a past client read the email and reached out and said,
Yeah.
let's go.
Hey.
So we've got to do both the fishing and the farming. But Frank, at the end of the day, I don't think we're honest with ourselves. You know what we say? Whew, that was a busy week. And then it's like,
Yeah.
okay, well, show me what activity did. Man, it just was busy. And they got like one
Yeah.
file.
I was just busy.
Yeah, man, I was setting up this one file and I was working through income and assets and I'm
Yeah.
like, wow, that's great, but how much money did you make? Well,
Yeah.
no, I didn't get any leads, but I was busy.
Yeah. Yeah,
There's just a
that's
better
if
way,
if
man.
that if you're listening or watching and that's you, that needs to be evaluated real quick,
Well,
right?
it's
That
easy
needs
to
to be
do.
dealt with.
We
Yeah.
didn't know. Nobody
Yeah.
really could put metrics behind it, but now we know. And I think that that's what's so great about the season that you're in and I'm in and Carl and all of us linking arms together. It's like now it's so crystal clear. You could do other things, but why? They don't move the needle.
Yeah.
It's
I
like
mean,
I could.
the real assessment's got to be. I mean, it does all boil down to prospecting and the
That's it.
tracking that you
That's
laid out.
it.
That's what it really just all. It will always boil down to
Yeah.
that. And what we really have to evaluate is there something that's stopping me from doing that? And
Yeah.
if there's something if it's genuinely there's something that's stopping me from doing that, then that has to be fixed, right? Or if it's not something outside of you that's stopping you from doing that, then it's something inside of you that's stopping you from doing that, and that needs to be fixed. So it's one or the other, but the solution to the issue, if we're not hitting our goals always comes down to I'm just not
Prospect.
prospecting enough.
That's it.
And I'm
That's it.
just, and when we say prospecting enough, understand, I like the way you said it. Um, a big component of that prospecting is, of course, we're having conversations, but the biggest component of that is literally asking for the business in those
That's it.
conversations.
That's it.
And
That's
that's
it.
what it is. Because you can have a lot of conversations, still not get any business. You
Yeah.
can just be people's friends all day long
All the yeah, you're in that
and
friend
never get
zone.
any business out of
Oh
it because you
yeah.
never ask. Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. And that's the weird spot to be too. It's like, hey, they know who I am, they know what I do. I'm just not
Yeah.
getting a lot of referrals. Well, because professionals ask, you got to ask. Hey,
Mm-hmm.
and listen, if you want help with it, I was just thinking about this. We got a boot camp coming up, and I do these 8 week intensive boot camps. And I don't know, I've got one coming up here in the next week or so. And go to freedomplanningcall.com because I love what you just said, freedomplanningcall.com. You just said it's either something's getting in the way of prospecting
Mm-hmm.
and it's either external or internal. And if it's
Mm-hmm.
both, we can help you. I'll tell you, external is not being hyper focused on the right activity because you didn't know what to do. You don't have a structure. There's no like, who am I calling today? What am I saying? We'll help you with that. We'll
Or a
help you
lack of
put
help, a lack of assistance,
yeah, and we can help you with that
that could
too
be
because
external. Yeah. Mm-hmm.
yeah, and I think that those are easy to fix. And then
Mm-hmm.
I think on the internal, we talk a lot about this in the boot camp. Each week I hyper focus on a limiting belief.
Mm.
And Frank, what we thought was I got to fix the belief before I take action. And what we've learned over the last 2 years in these boot camps, the reason there's been so much success is because, Frank, you know what it really is? I take action while changing the belief, and
Mm.
then the belief changes.
Yeah, that's good.
And so
Yeah.
it's like, oh, I'm going to fix it. I'm going to prep. I'm going to get ready. No, 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 no. That doesn't fix it. You got to take action while you're fixing it and changing your limiting belief. And when you do it, the sky's the limit. So,
Mm.
hey, we'll help you with it. freedomplanningcall.com. Dude, this is a great, regardless of where you're at right now, are you where you want to be? And
Yeah.
if not, hey, let me ask our audience this a really good question. I hear people all the time, Frank, say, "How do I change?" That's a disempowering question. The reason why, if you knew how, you already would. The better question is, what would it look like? Insert in the goal. What
Mm.
would be different? Insert in the goal.
Mm.
Because what would be different if I were prospecting 8 to 10 hours a week? What would
Mm-hmm.
need to be different on my team? What would I need to do different? What would it
Mm.
look like? Those are empowering questions because now you just begin to uncover, okay, well, listen, that means I'd have a 2 hour call time Monday through Thursday and 5 days a week if I want to really kill it. And it'd probably be in the morning because that's where most of the people answer the phone calls. So we're going to schedule it from 9 to 11. And
Mm.
guess what? When I'm in that appointment, I don't do anything but make outbound calls. And when I make calls, I'd actually ask for the business. And so
Mm.
it begins to help you vision where you're going and what it would look like to be doing that, which is more of an empowering instead of disempowering question.
Mm.
So
Mm. Very
just want to
good.
encourage you, you got what it takes. Today's the day. Make a commitment, make a decision that this second half of the year is going to be your best year or best half of the year ever.
Yeah, and I like the fact you're so skilled at this and you've been doing this a long time. You've helped so many people. A simple way to get access is just to go to freedomplanningcall.com.
Oh
Just
yeah.
go to
Yeah, we'll help you with it, man.
freedomplanningcall.com.
Yeah.
Give us a little information, have a little
First name,
conversation.
last name, email,
Yep,
cell
and then
phone.
and then we'll
Yep.
help you along the path. We can
Yeah.
help you
That'd be
along the
great.
path. So good
All right,
stuff,
brother.
brother.
Good topic,
Man.
man.
All
Hey,
right.
everybody, remember this. Anything worth doing is worth doing badly. Just get started. See ya.
Adios.